The following highlights have been carefully selected so that you may preview an innovative approach to a timeless topic. The Institute of Internal Auditors presents scenes from our 5-tape video series, Sawyer on Internal Auditing. From an internationally recognized voice of experience comes this dynamic perspective on the audit process. Larry Sawyer, a well-known consultant and author, conveys proven principles and actual experiences to reach auditors at all levels.
After the survey and the audit program and the field work have been done, the findings have been documented and sold, and all the dust seems to have settled, then you have to start working. Turning out that report. And you know, very often that brilliance that's shown through these magnificent findings that you came up with turn out to be a pretty dim bulb when it comes to the audit report. So a report that will communicate matters clearly, logically, compellingly, and concisely is going to get top management attention. In reports, make the reader comfortable. So you develop a format that is comfortable to the reader. You want top management to read your report. You haven't really arrived until they make report reading required reading. And they'll do that if they're comfortable with it. The author and poet, Elbert Hubbard, is credited with this description of the typical auditor. The typical auditor is a man past middle age, spare, wrinkled, intelligent, cold, passive, non-committal, with eyes like codfish, polite in contact, but at the same time unresponsive, calm, and as damnably composed as a concrete post or a plaster of Paris cast. A human petrification, with a heart of feldspar and without charm, minus bowels, passion, or a sense of humor. Happily, they never reproduce and all of them finally go to hell. Dealing with people professionally does not mean pulling punches. The internal auditor who backs off from a really significant finding is just going to be treated with contempt because the internal auditor isn't doing the job that he or she is being paid for. But what is important is to be open, to be candid, to be fair, to be logical and reasonable. You know, there's a fatal disease that afflicts many internal auditors. The symptoms are a shocked expression and the words, "But I thought, I assumed, I suppose, I took it for granted." It's fatal because it can kill a very promising career. Yet it's a trap that is so easy to fall into. We were talking about the 4 kinds of legal evidence and also about presumptions. The degrees of evidence include primary, secondary, direct, indirect, corroborative, and hearsay. Let's explore each briefly. Fraud's a huge subject, and there are many labels that have been attached to what we call employee and management fraud. Let's look at some of the definitions. The human condition is partly the reason for fraud. Fraud is a seed that is waiting for the right kind of soil and the right kind of climate, and unfortunately, management often provides that climate. Management fraud is a subject all its own. It is pernicious because the people involved and the amounts lost can be enormous. Thank you for listening to me about my favorite subject, modern internal auditing, this profession that I think is going to grow, is going to expand, is going to be the staff and the rod of managers everywhere once they get to understand what it is that we do, what it is that we stand for, and that we are a distinctive different, useful profession.